Like Pierce just noticed, I'm celebrating a birthday today. I'm 39 years old. Some people would look at that as really old and horrible and no one wants to talk about it. I think it's a good thing because if I screw up tonight, I can blame it on my age. That's just a matter of perspective. You, is that a heckling already? Perspective is not just a way of looking at things, but a way of thinking about things. It's finding a different way to see things that are bad or good. Optical illusions are a great example of this. You have some easy ones like the two faces and the vase. I think everyone in here can easily shift from one to the other without trying too hard. Just as there are some easy optical illusions, there's some tough ones. This one is the young woman and the old hag. And believe it or not, I actually take minutes to force myself to see the old hag in this one. This is a lot like life. There's some things that are obviously easy to find different ways to look at it. There's some things that are difficult to find different ways to look at it. It takes a lot of practice, but the practice is worthwhile in finding the different ways to see everything around you in life, whether it's situational, whether it's people or places, the way you feel about certain things. There are people in the world that make illusions every day, some very impressive, some not so impressive. There are people that choose to see the world in different ways, and I encourage you to practice learning to see things in different ways. There's a lot of things that don't make sense when you initially see them, but if you learn to walk around and find different ways to look at them, eventually you might find that one place that makes everything fall into place, and suddenly it's a work of art or a piece of beauty. It can also help you find ways to look at bad things in a good light, whether it's the loss of a job, the loss of a loved one, or anything that happens to you day by day. Or when your slide doesn't start like it's supposed to. Yes, just a moment of comic relief here. The beauty of perspective is that you can learn to see things in a very different light, and you can learn to see through things. Magic, Penn and Teller spend a lot of time breaking down the illusions that you see with people like David Copperfield. They teach you how the scams work. And if you learn to shift your perspective, you learn to see through these scams and through the magic easier. Just because you learn to see through the magic doesn't mean that you can't still appreciate the magic. I have worked in film and music for many years, including a feature film called Hide and Creep. It's a lot of work. But as my girlfriend can tell you, I can sit through 2 hours of one of the worst movies in the world and still fall right into it, even knowing what goes on behind the scenes. That's all a matter of practicing perspective. You learn to see the beauty in everyday things, whether it's a sunset that's just before a storm, or the change in temperature outside, or a simple job promotion. You can find yourself ways to look at things that aren't necessarily bad. There's a lot of great advice in the book called Illusions. I encourage you all to find a copy and read through it. It's not the best book in the world, but there's a lot of really good advice on how to appreciate things, on how to focus on the blue sky instead of the coming storm, or even, as some people do, learn to appreciate the storm. Learn to appreciate the magic of the rain and the black clouds and the thunder. Practicing perspective can help you very easily see things in a different way, understand your enemies, understand your friends, and in doing so, understand yourself. It's not just a matter of seeing things just through your own eyes and not having a clue why other people do things. My girlfriend is from Boston. Snow is an everyday occurrence to her, and last winter she was marveling at people that would wander around like the sky was falling. It was magic to me, but practicing perspective, you learn to see things. Practicing perspective can also help you find humor in the world. There are situations that could be potentially horrible, but you can learn to laugh at them. There's an old saying about the glass being half full or half empty, and there's a lot of different perspectives other than those two. For instance, that glass isn't really half full or half empty. It just means it's time for another drink. So in closing, I think that it's important for all of you to start learning to find different ways to view things in your life, not just the good or bad, because things are what they are, and it's up to you to choose how you view them and how you experience them.